Alright guys, welcome to another Tabletop Ready Miniatures video. This is, I'm just doing a, a recap. We had a game recently, I had a game recently, actually just today. So I'm in a league, an Age of Sigmar league, and so I'll probably be posting a video from each game, just kind of giving you just a recap of what happened. And yeah, so I'm in a league. It's like there's 8 guys. It's an escalation league. We're starting at 750 points, and my buddy Bill was telling me, there's just different guys, so just go and have fun, and so I planned on it. So I went with an Ogre Maw tribe army. Basically had a butcher, 6 gluttons, 4 iron guts, yeah, and then a unit of 2 of the what are they called? The cavalry that we have, ogre cavalry, Mornfang pack. Then I brought obviously I brought my pot, and I ended up going with the Blood Gullet faction. That gives me the +1 spell, knowing +1 spell, and being able to cast an additional spell from my butcher. And I took the trait and the relic and all that with that. Anyway, I ended up taking Ribcracker and Blood Feast as my additional gut magic spells. Yeah, and I actually did a practice game with my son. So the mission was knife through the heart. There's an objective in there. So they basically have 24 inches up, and then from like 24 inches from the middle of the table to 1/4 table edge, long ways. So you have like a nice little triangle, right? Isosceles triangle or whatever the crap it's called. So we each have that, and then basically it's at the start of turn 3. If any opponent controls both objectives, they get a major victory. We did end up selecting those. I call them secondary objectives. I know they're auxiliary somethings, but anyway, we ended up selecting 2 each because I was like, this could be a draw, and this way it'll help us figure out if there was a minor victory or minor loss. But then I got to see his list. And again, this is a league, an escalation league. This is like there are very few players in the community that I live in that are willing to play competitively in a competitive scene, right? So almost no one is willing to go to tournaments for 40K. Anytime we bring up the idea of playing tournaments, like no one comes. We have our Alpha Strike Alliance group, which is like a group of 5 of us, one of which doesn't even live in this area. He's on the other side of the mountain. So you only have 4 of us that play competitively. We play competitive 40K. And I wouldn't mind actually starting to play competitive. Like I said, I talked in previous videos, competitive Age of Sigmar. Anytime you talk about playing competitively, hey, saying you want to practice, use ITC rules for Warhammer 40K, so on and so forth. It's, oh, nah, I'm good. I'm not interested. Then I come to this freaking joke of a league, right? It's just 8 of us. I'm over here thinking, cool, it's an escalation league. We're all here to have fun. We're all here to play. And boy, freaking howdy. Now, this is only my first game. Granted, this is my first game. So who knows how it's going to be? Who knows, what I'm saying, if this is how it's going to be the whole way. But I get there, right? And mine's it's an ogre list, right? I mean, it's not like I'm, maxing out Iron Guts. It's not like I'm over, I'm taking, it's not like I'm going crazy and bringing Stonehorns and Mornfang packs and just, bum rushing you and, saying attacking twice and all that crap. This, I'm saying? It's just a fun, casual, blood gullet list with some big fat boys walking across the table and trying to smack some heads, right? And gobble some guys. So this is the list I come up with, up against. So the guy brought a Skink Star Priest. I don't even remember what his spell was. He took Master of Star Rituals to give him the +1 to cast. He actually got something. I think it was his relic. That was it. His relic, some kind of relic that basically gave him an additional +1 to cast. So he was cast. Somehow, and he didn't even give me a list. But somehow he was able to. So it was 2 up to cast and 1 up to dispel. On this stupid skink star priest. And he brought a freaking bound endless spell for 40 points, the Burning Head, right? Which, as long as it doesn't cross over, one doesn't do any more wounds, but it gives anybody within wholly within 9 inches the rerolls 1s to hit. And then, like I said, if it crosses over you, it's D3 mortal wounds, and it moves 9 inches. And it's bound. Yeah. So he brings this general, which is kitted out to do crazy magic. He brings a unit of 20 skinks with bolt spitters and moonstone clubs. He brings a stegodon for battle line. Now he is coalesced, and he chose the thunder lizards. So stegodons are battle line. So he brings a stegodon as battle line. Okay, sure. And he brings a bastillodon. A frickin' bastillodon. Yeah, so you can easily see what this guy's freaking deal is, right? Now you gotta remember, knife through the heart. You have your objective and his objective, and so one, like, dirty, like, really, you took at 750 points, you took this list for a fun game, like. There's so many freaking things you can take, and this is as dirty as this is one of the dirtiest things you could bring in a 750 point game. Like, seriously. I saw the list and I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing because I played Seraphon. I know the Codex. I've played them plenty of times. I know what you're doing. I know what you're wanting to do. And then when we deployed, he did exactly what I expected. He castled up on his objective. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, that's fine. So, so he had his Bastillodon and his Stegodon, and then his Skinks were a screen. And yeah, he actually deployed pretty poorly, but it was also partly because of the triangle way, right? So he couldn't deploy in front of his Bastillodon or his Stegodon, otherwise he wouldn't be able to move them up and get them within range for the first turn shooting. So yeah, but he castled. Oh, he castled. He had no intention of going and getting my objective until he shot me off the frickin' table. And you know what? I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I lined up my boys. You know what I'm saying? My Gluttons, my Iron Guts, my Mornpain Cavalry. I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? If I can get across the board, we'll see what happens. If I can't, if you know what I'm saying, if you shoot me off the table, it is what it is. So he actually he ends up getting first turn, which, okay. So he gets first turn, because we had 4 units apiece, 4 drops each, and he ended up getting to choose to deploy first. So he deployed first and got the drop and chose to take the first turn. So sure enough, like I said, he moves his skinks up a little bit. He moves up his Bastillodon to get it within range. He didn't move his Stegodon, which was interesting. So he ended up not being able to even shoot with him. But again, he deployed, I think, poorly. He put his Stegodon behind his Bastillodon. And I wonder if I can find a knife through the heart mission. Oh. That's creepy, guys. Is it knife through the heart? There it is. No, that's not it. Knife to the heart. Not through. Knife 2. The Heart Age of Sigmation 2020. Seriously? All right. Well, this isn't quite it. So this isn't right. But basically, like I said, you put your objective. It's 24 inches up, or excuse me, yeah, 24 inches up, and 12 over. No, it's not 24. It's 12. Anyway, basically, you have your objective here. Your deployment zone is 24 inches up, and then it goes down like this, right? And the same here. And then you have to put it within. I think it's like 12 and 12 or something like that. It's like right here in the corner of your deployment zone, right? So you have this big long strip of no man's land, right? So this big strip. Anyway, and so he puts his Bastiladon right here. There's some terrain right here, so he puts his skinks behind it, and his Star Priest right here, and his Stegodon right here. So I line up my guys. So like this is our deployment zone right here. So I'm like boom, boom, one right next to the Mornfang right next to the objective, and then my Butcher, and I put my Maw Pot right here in the middle of the table. Anyway, so he gets first turn. I'm on this objective with my Mornfang. So then he moves up his Bastiladon and shoots. Nothing else is within range, even though he's like, oh yeah, my skinks are. And, they only get 16-inch range. I'm like, yeah, they're not. So he's like, oh, okay, yeah, they're not. Then he goes off, you know what I'm saying? And he shoots with his Bastiladon, and, they're hitting on 4s. And he casts his spell and got like a 11 or something with his +2 to cast, and I couldn't stop it. Yeah, and Bastiladon goes off, right? 9 shots, uses the command point, does another 9 shots, so he's 18 freaking shots. Ends up killing, ends up doing 12 wounds? Yeah, 12 wounds, and killing, he ends up targeting my Gluttons, and kills half the unit. I'm like, okay. And that's all he's able to do, his turn. So then my turn, at the end of his turn, I control that objective. So then my turn, I move up. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving everyone up. They're flying across the board. Yeah. And then, I cast some things, basically Blood Feast to make people nastier. And I cast Mystic Shield just in case. Just in case I didn't, he got the first turn in the second round. So then we roll off, right? And I'm thinking this is it, right? If I don't get the double turn, if I don't get this second turn, it's over. Because he'll move his skinks up. They'll be within 16 inches. 20 shots, or I guess, yeah, he get 40 shots because he gets +1 if they're. And that was the other thing too. I'm not sure of is if you get a +1 to all your shots, or is it just? I'm looking at it right now. Skinks. Where are you? Add 1 to the damage inflicted by successful attacks made with. Nope. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Here it is. Add 1 to the attack characteristics of weapons used by this unit while it has 15 or more models. Oh, okay. Yeah. So then like I said, he would go from 20 shots to 40 shots. You know what I'm saying? He'd be able to, wound, and he has the ability to Star Priest to pick one unit, and then on 6s to wound its mortal wounds. So you're getting 40 shots, right? He's going to throw a bunch. He gets to shoot twice with the Bastiladon. He's going to shoot with the Stegodon, and it's over. He's going to literally blow me off the table. Luckily, thankfully, I beat him. I roll a 6. He rolls like a 2 or a 3. So I get the double turn. And boy, howdy, was I excited. So I move up my guys, right? Just keep moving them. Boom, boom, boom. Do charges. So I charge with everything but my Butcher. I charge my Iron Guts into his Bastiladon, because his Bastiladon's still right up here, right? So my Iron Guts into Bastiladon, the Gluttons into the Bastiladon, and then the Mornfang pack, both into the Bastiladon and the Skinks to hold them down. So then I get impact charges, right? And I rolled a 6 for the iron. I have to roll a 6, a 9, and a 6. So I get to roll 21 dice. And I end up doing, I think on 21 dice, I end up doing six mortal wounds. Yeah, 6 mortal wounds. And then I swing with my my iron guts first, and they end up doing. I end up doing. Oh, it was 6 again. Now that's the other thing too. Again, like I said, this list was ridiculous because he is coalesced and he took the thunder lizards. So now all minute you decrease the damage by 1 to every freaking model in the freaking army, which is insane. Because now my iron guts are doing 2 damage and my ogre gluttons are doing 1 damage, right? Instead of the 3 and 2. So I ended up like wounding with 3. He fails 3 saves, and I would have killed him, but he ended up taking, or no, he ended up failing 2 because then he basically takes instead of 6 and dying, and that's the other thing too. 2 more wounds, both on his Bastiladon and his Stegodon. Like I said, this list was I just felt like this list was dirty, especially for the scenario we had. Like, completely dirty. Hey, let me cast him, let me shoot you off the board. So anyway, like I said, ended up knocking him down to 1 wound with the bites as well because he failed 1 bite, and then he fights with this. He fights back with his skinks actually into my Mornfang. He ends up killing the Mornfang, and then why were they wounded too? Trying to think. No, it was just the number of attacks he got. Yeah, so he ends up because he rolled really well too, which it happens. And he did the mortal wounds, right? So he got 10 guys in. He gets 20 attacks. He ended up doing 5 mortal wounds, and he ended up doing like 3 or 4 additional. So he ended up killing 1 Mornfang rider and put a couple wounds on the other. So then my Ogre Gluttons finish off his Bastiladon, and then I had 1 guy fight into the Skinks as well as my Mornfang, my leftover Mornfang. So I ended up killing, I ended up actually killing quite a few Skinks. And he ended up failing morale and losing a couple more. So he ended up losing 11 Skinks in total because I think I killed 6. Yeah, I killed 6, and he rolled a 5. Anyway, so he ended up like losing 11 Skinks in total and went down to 9 Skinks. And then it was his turn on bottom of turn 2. He charges in his Stegodon, or he shoots with his Stegodon. He's charging in with his Stegodon, and into my Iron Guts, and does like just a whole host of damage. He ends up killing I think all but one of my Iron Guts. So then I fight back into his Skinks. I actually end up putting all of my Gluttons into his Skinks just to take him down. And then I fight back with my Iron Gut into his Bastiladon or his Stegodon, and then the Hacker also, the Mornfang also, to finish off Skinks. So that's the end of turn 2, but I wasn't close to enough to the objective to take it. He still had his Stegodon, and no one else was within 3. So then turn 3 comes around, and I actually win priority again. So then I get... Actually, we tied. So I rolled a 6, and I'm like, oh, good, I beat him. And then he rolled a 6. But I went first on turn 2, round 2. So I win ties. So I got to go again. So then I charge in my Butcher, my Ogre Gluttons, they charge in, and we basically kill... I think we did like all but 1 wound or 2 wounds on the Stegodon. So that he kills off like 2 Gluttons and does a bunch of wounds on my Butcher. He had like a couple of Skinks left, and anyway, I ended up losing my my Mornfang, and I ended up finishing off his Skinks, and all he has left is his Star Priest and his I'll hit Stegodon on two wounds. And I actually, when I piled in, because I piled in again, and got close enough that at the end of my turn 3, I had 2 ogres within the objective. So then I gain control of it because that's 4 against his 1 for Stegodon. And then I let him know that I've successfully accomplished the major victory. And he's like, well, let's play this out, right? Let's, just for fun, let's play it out. I'm like, okay. So his turn, he charges in his Skink Priest. He whiffs. He whiffs his attacks going to Stegodon because at this point, I'm saying they're not doing a lot of damage and there's not a lot of attacks. And he ended up healing with my maw pit, my maw pot. So that's how they survived. So he didn't do a lot of damage. He whiffed most of his attacks, and so still hasn't killed anything. I still have 1 Ogre Glutton. I have my Butcher and I have my Iron Gut left. And then I kill his Stegodon, and I do a couple of wounds on his Skink Priest, and that's the end of his turn 3. And then he's like, "Okay, well, we can be done." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so you wanted to play this out because you wanted to have some kind of you wanted to feel good about maybe tabling me, even though I won the mission, right? And now that you can't table me, you're okay not playing it out." Anyway, yeah, so that's how it went. I had a lot of fun. I was super nice at the, what I'm saying, I feel like I was a very good charitable player. What I'm saying, I'm trying to get to know these guys, trying to see, what the local scene is like, because for the longest time we could never get anyone other than Alpha Strike Alliance people to get together and play. So like I said, try to see what the local scene is like. So I'm still gonna try to keep an open mind. I will strive to keep an open mind at every game I go to, but at the same time, like, this is my first match, and this list is bullcrap, especially for the mission. I'm saying, super dirty list. So I'm over here just thinking we're all just gonna bring fun, casual lists, and that's not what it's looking like. It's looking like, I don't want to say tryhards, but that's what it feels like, right? Because there's a difference. When I go to a tournament, I'm bringing a tournament list, right? I'm planning on, my goal is to rip your face off, and your goal is to rip my face off, right? And we will see who can do it better. When you go to an escalation league, I mean, yes, you can win the league, but at the same time, it's for fun. That's my understanding, but apparently not. Apparently, escalation leagues are where those who aren't good enough to play in tournaments and don't want to get embarrassed go, so that they can all, try to pummel each other, in a safe space, I guess you want to call it, because it's just a league, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I thought we were here to just play fun, have fun lists and play and have fun, and that's not what this list was about. This list was about shooting me off the board. And so, anyway, so there you go. This is way too long. I apologize. I did have fun. Like I said, I was very kind. He was a good guy. There was a couple of times where I felt like, just by the way he was talking, and maybe that's just his personality, I felt like he was very vague in the way he would tell me about his rules, and it just felt like sometimes it was inconsistent. Maybe that was just me being grumpy because of the list that he took, but yeah. So, like I said, I would question him multiple times on his lists and the different things that he told me, and half the time it would be like, no, I'm pretty sure it's this and that, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, pretty sure? Are you sure? Or are you pretty sure? Because pretty sure means that I'm not going to go by what you're telling me. Sure means that it's actually in the book, and you can easily point it to me, and I can read it and make sure. So, anyway, but like I said, on the whole, it was fun. I was, like I said, tried to be a very nice guy. We chatted a little bit afterwards. We did fill out our little slips, our scoring slips, and handed them in. I got 8 points only because my army wasn't fully was it 8 points? 6, 7, 8. Because you can get 6. Yeah, 6. You can get 11 total. Yeah, it's a weird scoring. You can get 11 total. So you get 6 for a major victory, 4 for a minor, 3 for a draw, 2 for a minor loss, and 0 for a major loss. And then you get 1 point if you arrived on time at this early or at this time you're supposed to. 1 if you brought a list to share with your opponent. 1 if you brought all of the necessary stuff that you need to play the game, so that's 3, and then 2 if you're fully painted and based. So mine wasn't fully painted and based, and I didn't bring a list, so that I lost 3 points. So I got 8 because I got 6 plus the other 2. Anyway, so like I said, and again, I don't even freaking care. I'm not out here to win the league. I don't give a crap. I'm here to play guys and to meet all these different guys because I'll get to play 7 different games with 7 different guys and get to know these people a little bit better and see if there's any individuals that I might like and might want to actually start inviting to my house. You know what I'm saying? And to tabletop ready miniatures, battle reports, and things like that. So anyway, good game. Super crazy list. You know what I'm saying? I got the second turn, the double turn. And then ogres did what ogres do, boy. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. And I'll check you next time.